Even the short-term stuff is saying, hey, I'm out of the hole. At that point, I would say, if you're not in silver, join in. Yeah, you're buying it off the low. Nothing has broken other than public sentiment.
The first one I want to dig into is the silver sector. And I've been long gold for the last 2 years, so that's worked out well. But I've had very little exposure to silver, and I think it just got away on me. It just went too far too fast. And now we've had this nice pullback here. What are your thoughts? Is this a buying opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. All of our work from various vantage points, not just momentum structural analysis, but relative performance analysis of silver versus gold, gold versus the S&P. In other words, what's the macro trend of the monetary metals? Okay, thumbs up across the board. Gold miners, gold, silver. Okay. Then within that asset category, silver is outperforming gold. Oh, yes, it got shin kicked in 1.5 days. That's how long that drop lasted, by the 1.5 days. Now, we spiked that out last week, on Friday or so. We spiked out that low, but it quickly came back up. But most of the drop was literally within hours. Okay. Now, people thought, that's it, it's over, done. You don't have that kind of drop without a top. Our work says no. You did not break anything except sentiment. Long-term momentum trend factors are not even near points of structural breakage. Whereas in the past, when we made tops, 2011, for example, or the low in 2015, there was ample structure on momentum where you could look at a momentum chart and say, oh boy, you break that line, you're going down. Oh boy, break that line, you're going up. We don't have any structure nearby. And whenever you do not have clear bridge over the River Kwai type structure to blow up, to break down through, you probably aren't at a top. Almost all tops, I'd say 95% of them, have clear momentum structures that when broken, then you later find out price joins in. Anyway, so the answer to that question, yes, silver got trounced. However, I think it is a buying opportunity for those who might not have been in the first move. And I think that we're still going to probably $300 to $500 silver this year. And probably much of that occurring by summer. As crazy as that sounds, it is not crazy. There's many examples of other markets doing similar type repricing to a new reality type events. Silver has all kinds of arguments for it, both technical and fundamental, that favor that sort of rapid readjustment. So our assessment says, yes, full thumbs up. This is a buying opportunity. In our weekend report, we put out some defining numbers where if we get above certain numbers this week, for example, in silver or gold, it says, yeah, you better get back on board if you got out. So yeah, I think that's the prime event of the year right there coming up.
Are you curious about investing in gold and silver, but feel held back by fear or confusion? This ebook is designed especially for new investors who want clarity, not complexity. It breaks down gold and silver trading strategies in a simple, practical way. No jargon, no hype. Why wait? Hurry up. Please visit this link to get your copy today and use code MRJGZBYA for a huge discount. More than 1,000 people took the first step with this ebook, and today they're living proof that smart investing changes lives. Now, this book is also available in Amazon Kindle. Go and hurry up. So once again, the new target for silver is somewhere between $300 and $500, possibly by sometime this summer. I wish I could be more precise, but markets don't work on exact calendars. What we're potentially looking at is a tantrum-type move, the kind of explosive breakout that happens after something has been stuck in a range for decades. Silver has basically lived inside a wide but stagnant range for nearly half a century, bouncing back and forth while most other commodities eventually broke out. It's unusual for any asset to stay boxed in that long. Take copper as an example. For decades, through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and into the early 2000s, copper traded roughly between 50 cents and $1.50 per pound. Then around late 2005, it suddenly decided it was done living in that range. Within just a few quarters, it surged to around $4.50 per pound. There wasn't some dramatic nuclear event driving it. It wasn't even perfectly aligned with gold, silver, or other base metals. It simply transitioned into a new pricing reality. Lead did something very similar in 2007. After decades of sideways movement, it suddenly broke out and quadrupled within a short period of time. Again, it was a rapid repricing after years of compression. Now look at gold. Since it was legalized for U.S. ownership in 1975, it has never stayed confined to its previous highs. It hit $200 corrected. Later it reached $850 corrected. Then it climbed near $100 corrected again. And eventually it kept pushing into new territory. Gold never remained trapped inside a 50-year box. The argument here is that silver may be approaching that same kind of structural shift, moving from a long period of containment into an entirely new price range. When assets spend decades coiling inside a range, the eventual breakout can be dramatic.
Anyway, I think that not just the actions, prior archival actions of copper and lead, for example, or, look at the price relationship of silver to gold, for example. It's ridiculously low, historically. In fact, last year, it was down 1% of the price of gold. Divide an ounce of silver into an ounce of gold. 1%, okay. If you go back and look at the bull market surge that peaked in 1980, in fact, for a period of time there, not just a spike, it was at 6.5% of the price of gold. Okay. Then in the 2011 bull market, 2010 to 11, the latter part of that bull market, silver was over 3% the price of gold. So last year it was 1%. What do you think? It's going to free? Okay. So it's popped up over 2 recently, breaking out over a massive, clear technical structure on the relative performance chart, meaning an ounce of silver divided into an ounce of gold plotted each month. And you had a very clear ceiling, and it broke through that. So that's yet more evidence that silver is waking up even relative to gold.
Do like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon for more updates.